When it comes to growing your business, there's an infinite number of things that you could potentially do. But the problem is your time, energy, and money is not infinite. It is finite. So you have to carefully pick and choose what you should be working on. And in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how you should be going about identifying what you should work on first and how to really prioritize. So this way, you're growing your business from a very data-driven, strategic standpoint. So with that being said, let's just dive right into this. Now, the biggest mistake is you just willy-nilly picking a whole bunch of things that seem like good ideas and you just start knocking them off your to-do list. That is the wrong way to really grow a business. Instead, you should be asking these 3 questions to yourself, which is, what problem am I trying to solve, right? What problem am I solving? Second thing is this the highest leverage problem to solve? Highest leverage means, if I do this, is this going to give me the best potential results with the lowest amount of effort? And third one is, what data do I have to back that up? So for example, if you figure out, okay, you know what, I need to work on my emails, then you have to ask yourself, well, what data do I have that if I improve my emails, I'm actually going to grow my business? So this is where you start to take away emotions and feelings, and instead you look at the numbers, the math, the data, the facts. And this is the key to becoming a very successful entrepreneur versus struggling and staying at the same spot year after year. So if we start with these 3 questions, I'm actually going to now walk you through exactly what I'd be doing. And what I'm going to draw out, let's just see, is a typical funnel, right? If we have a look at this, it's going to be first an ad. From the ad, it goes to an opt-in page. And then from the opt-in page, it's going to go to the calendar page. From then on, we're going to have a sales consult. And from then on, we will either have a wedding booked, or it might go up into a kind of a wedding follow-up, all right? These are the different paths that you could be taking your leads and couples on. Now, once you have this path drawn out, what you want to do is figure out what are the supporting elements in each of these parts. So obviously, if we have an opt-in page, we're going to have opt-in emails, and we're going to have like an opt-in text message. Then, of course, on the calendar page, if somebody is booking in a consultation, they're going to be getting reminders, right? And then they're also going to be getting nurture/educational materials. And I'm just going to call it edu materials. And then on the sales consult, right, it's going to be basically your script that you use to just talk with your couples. And then we're going to have the offer. Basically, what are you presenting to the wedding couple so they're feeling like, okay, this is the right move for me. And then, of course, we have the 2 outcomes, right? So let's just now put in some fictitious data and see where we go from here. So I'm just going to put in the data. So for the ad, we're really looking at the CTR. So let's just say for the ad CTR, we're at 1% CTR. Then for the opt-in page, we are, let's say, at 20% opt-in. Then from the calendar page, let's just say usually we're going to have another 15% of those people book Actually, let's not call it book because we might confuse. Let's just call it schedule. And then over here, we're going to say we are converting, let's say, 40%. And we can just call it 40% closing rate. And this goes by a bunch of different names: closing rate, client conversion rate. You get the point, right? So if we map out all the different things, and it should take you a couple of hours to map this out if you don't have these stats handy. But once you do, now you can actually start to figure out, great, where should I be in terms of my numbers? Like, what are the benchmarks in this industry? Am I at the benchmark? Am I exceeding the benchmark? Am I falling behind the benchmark, right? So just because I have the luxury of working with hundreds and hundreds of wedding photographers and videographers inside my coaching program, I know the exact benchmarks. So I'm just going to kind of share with you inside this video, but you might have to kind of ask around or work with an expert like me, hint, hint. But, let's just talk about this. So we're going to work forwards to backwards. And when I'm looking at this, well, at CTR 1%, well, that's pretty good. Let's just say, like, maybe we could increase it to 1.5, right? That is a possibility, but it's going to be pretty hard because if you're already at 1% CTR, like, you're doing amazing. Now, opt-in page 20%, well, you should be able to get it up to 35%. What about the calendar page? 15%? Hey, that is as good as it's going to get. So I'm just going to rewrite 15% schedule. Closing 40%. Well, again, you're at the top end of closing. And keep in mind, we're talking about closing a cold audience, right? This is not referrals. Like, yes, when you're getting word of mouth and referrals, you should be closing 90% or more, right? That's the benchmark for what we call warm audiences. But for a cold audience that's coming in from ads or content, 40% is amazing. So this, we're going to leave it at 40% closing. So then if that's the case, let's highlight what are the potential things we could work on to try to improve our business and start generating more clients and revenue. So let's just highlight this. So there's no way that, you'd be able to increase this. It is going to be a hard choice, but the easiest things for you to work on would definitely be this right here. For example, so then now, actually, just to make this kind of interesting, let's just give us two choices. So we're debating between, hey, do we improve the ad creative, the ad messaging, the ad copy, the ad targeting in order to improve the CTR? Because if we're getting more people to click on it, that means we're getting more people to check out the opt-in page, meaning we're getting more traffic. Or do we prioritize working on the opt-in page, meaning the people that are already landing on the opt-in page? Do we try to get more of them to opt into our funnel? Now, the easiest way to think about this is to start figuring out what are the percentage increases between these two numbers, which is going to be between this right here to this right here. All right, so just to spare you all the math and the wizardry that goes behind calculating these numbers, I wrote down, if we increase the CTR from 1% to 1.5%, that is a 50% increase. Now for the opt-in rate, if we go from 20% to 35%, that is a 75% increase, right? And if you're ever curious how to calculate this formula, you basically just take the new value, which would be 1.5, old value 1%, divided by old value 1%, multiplied by 100. This is how you calculate it, right? So if this is the case, right, this is what I am prioritizing because this is going to give me a 75% increase. Because what that means is if I'm getting 75% more people to opt in right here, overall, there's going to be more leads flowing through the funnel. I'm going to get more people to check out my calendar page. I'm going to get more people on sales consultations, and I'm going to potentially get more booked weddings, right? If not, at the very least, I'm going to have more opportunities to do a follow-up. So if this was my business, I would be moving heaven and hell to figure out, okay, how do I make this increase? What do I need to do? Then I'm going to pull out kind of like a microscope and start looking at the different elements of this opt-in page. Now, this could be, if we start to break it down, right? Is it the first thing, if we're trying to improve anything about an opt-in page, it's going to be the overall design, right? Then the headline. Then we have the copy/offer. And then you start breaking all of the different elements down and then start figuring out, okay, maybe I'm going to tweak the design a little bit. Maybe I'll simplify it. Maybe I'll change the headline. Maybe I'll change the copy and offer. And then you test it out over the next, let's say, 3 to 7 days and see, is it better, same, or worse? Because yeah, you could break it and maybe your old stuff was better. So in any case, this is the approach that you want to take, because this is way more scientific and data driven than saying, you know what, I'm going to do something totally different. Like maybe I'll just change the photos on my ad, or maybe I'm going to actually just change my sales script because that is going to grow my business. No, my friend, this is the approach that you want to take. Now, couple of things, right? You watching this right now, there's going to be 2 buckets you guys fall under. First bucket is you might be thinking, well, Mahmoud, I don't even have a predictable linear process to get clients because I'm relying on word of mouth or referrals or inquiries from the knot. So they don't really follow this clean linear path that you are taking your clients from an ad and a funnel into email sequence and all that good stuff. Well, that right there is kind of your problem. You need to make sure your business is having that kind of a clean path. How do people hear about your business and how do they actually become a client? And if you cannot draw that out on paper, that's exactly the main reason why you haven't been able to grow, because you don't have that consistent, predictable, repeatable process. And the second bucket of people, you might already be running ads and you might have been making ad decisions or funnel decisions overall in your business based on feelings. And this is the way you solve that. And if I'm being honest with you, you can actually take this exact process and apply it to lots of different places in your business. Like, for example, let's just dive into, for example, like emails, right? If we're looking at emails, we want to look at how many emails were sent, how many people was delivered it to, what's the opens, right? Then what's the clicks? Then we can look at the schedules from those emails. And you can take that same process and figure out, okay, where is this thing breaking down numbers wise? Maybe I need to work on the open rate, which would be the headline. Or maybe I need to get more people to click on the links inside my emails, right? Which would be copy and offer. And the crazy but also the fun part is this becomes an infinite game because you can start zooming in and out and figuring out exactly what you should be working on inside of your business with this very clean, data-driven approach. And if you're curious how you could potentially have me do this, well, let me tell you about my coaching program, Rapid Booking System, because this is literally what I have done with my clients to get them results like Soar, right? Booked $115,000 in 3 months. Jasmine, she spent $1,200 on ads to book $23,000 in weddings. And the Results keep going on and on. It's all on our website. Alicia made $50,000 in 4 months. And the reason they get such results is because we're not doing things randomly. We're using such a data-driven approach. So if you'd like me to work with you exactly on this bottleneck solving exercise inside of your business one-on-one, then go down below and you're going to see a link to schedule a call with me and my team. We're going to hop on a call, talk to you about if working together makes any sense. If not, at the very least, you're going to leave with a lot of clarity and have a lot more understanding on what you should be doing and what you should be working on to grow your business.